Hello everyone, we are here with the real final video of Air for my channel. Last time I streamed this I beat it, but another chapter appeared, this first Sky chapter, and I looked how long it was and it looks to be about 40 minutes long, so I'll just do an off stream of it. Why not? Well, not a stream, a video. So let's just do it. Let's have a good time with this. Whatever this is. And we'll start from the beginning. I did a little bit last stream, but we'll just start from the beginning here. The lady-in-waiting's name is Uraha. She is said to be a lady-in-waiting of considerable ability. However, Lady Uraha has never served a single mistress for long. That is, with one exception. No one is unsatisfied with your work. She knows as soon as the more senior lady of the court calls for her. However, your fan work was better than the ladies at the poetry meet. She speaks as though clenching her back teeth. She tries to seek Uraha's understanding. And as such, while this brings us great sorrow, Uraha's certainty hardens, though her smile remains unchanged. There's a faint sense that she finds her misfortune amusing as well. Even now, she leaves for no room for complaints in her behavior. Uraha serves flawlessly as a lady-in-waiting to the nobility. She excels in poetry, etiquette, and music and can play the wagon and sing. Her beauty is refined and elegant to the point it sometimes overshadows even the high-born ladies she serves. Her innate nature is what creates issues in her employability. Something about Uraha seems out of place as a lady-in-waiting. She doesn't care if she makes others upset, but because of that, she also sharply attuned to her lady's moods. Doesn't take her long to notice when she's about to be dismissed. That I shall take my leave, then I shall take my leave, she says with a broad smile, then lifts the hem of her skirt and departs. The older lady is taken aback by how smoothly the exchange went, but she quickly calls out to her again. Wait, this concerns your next placement. Uraha that turns back and the older woman continues, a complicated expression on her face. If it pleases you, I could put in a good word. May I ask what you mean? The rule calls for one of considerable stature. I see. She tilts her head as the words and their implications, but she has no reason to turn away an offer. Then I will avail myself of your generosity. And so Uraha's transfer to her new job, about the 10th one or so, was decided quite casually. It was near the end of the month of January. Uraha is in the woods a distance from the city. Although this time of the year should be spring, the mountain air holds a chill like deep waters. It's January, it's winter. What? She walks on grass needled with ice up a steep mountain road. While white puffs of breath rise from her lips. It's quite deep in the wilderness, is it not? Uraha remarks to her lone guard. He just continues ahead in silence, giving no response. Eventually, a building of some sort comes into view, hidden on the other side of the dreary little cedar grove. Is that the shrine? Uraha murmurs it more than she says it. It isn't as large as she had envisioned on her journey. There lacks a torii gate and takamagaki instead. The perimeter is raked by a wooden fence. It seems oddly substantial, almost more reminiscent of a fortress than a temple. At the least, it should be a unique reprieve. Don't tempt fate with careless words. Her guard speaks. They're the first words from the small man thus far. He very briefly gives her a few instructions, and then he departs down the mountain, nearly fleeing. There are 2 guards at the gate who send suspicious glances toward Uraha's finery. Uraha parts her veil as she approaches and announces her presence as instructed. Her first sight of the shrine reveals it is the very image of a noble's estate, much more than any house of the gods. She is guided into the structure immediately, possibly because the shrine transfer has only just been completed. The clean scent of cypress wafts from the floor and pillars. Uraha straightens her posture and waits for an audience with her new mistress. The lady who Uraha would be serving was said to be of high status, even among those of noble birth. She is in fact not even human. She's a servant of the gods, one of the ones they call the Winged Ones. Uraha has heard they have beautiful wings on their backs, but doesn't know if that's true. Living in this far out in the woods must be a sign of the lady's status, but she is said to be quite difficult to handle as something other than human. Angering her might invite some sort of divine punishment. Not just any lady-in-waiting is able to serve her, and thus Uraha was chosen. To be blunt, this was an unfortunate turn for her, and a demotion to a post in the hinterlands. Naturally, Uraha doesn't concern herself with that. Having come to this remote refuge, she finds herself struck with the playful idea of singing a verse of poetry. On the deep forest way. However, before she can finish the verse, there's a commotion from the hallway. Please wait, Lady Kanna no Mikoto. Please be reasonable. She can hear several ladies in waiting panicking. I will not. I do not wish to meet anyone. The high-pitched voice continues, conveying a clearly poor mood. Uraha stands up and walks over to the veranda to investigate the commotion. Thud. Then she bumps into something. Ah! Whoever it is that just jumped out at her proceeds to fall to the floor on their butt. Uraha is not particularly affected. Oh dear, goodness. She extends her hand but then stops suddenly. The person she collided with is glaring at her. It's a young girl. She's slender and dressed as a Miko with an unusual outer robe over her clothing. She stands up without taking Uraha's hand. What are you looking at? Where are your manners? The girl says, her face darkening to a deep red. Her voice is quite charming, reminding Uraha of a puppy. Oh dear. Uraha wasn't listening. She just looks at the girl fascinated. She must not have been combed her hair for days. It extends past her waist in an unkempt mess that is starting to lose its luster. Her robes are also poorly managed, so arranged so much that I can hardly bear to look at her. Her outerwear sways in the wind. That alone is enough for Uraha to see the fabric is of a higher quality than most, and rarely seen even in the imperial court. She also notes a mysterious depth to the girl's eyes. Oof. Why do you laugh? Uraha touches the girl's hair with her right hand in lieu of a reply. Ladies in waiting watching over the girl start to panic. Refrain from overly familiar contact with me, the girl says, visibly confused. I cannot comb your hair otherwise. Uraha answers with a smile. It requires care. You are quite beautiful, so all the more. She smoothly reties the bells binding together the girl's hair. Enough! The girl shakes her head free of Uraha's hands. Who are you? I am called Uraha. I have only just arrived and entered service herein. One of the ladies in waiting hurriedly interrupts as Uraha begins an explanation. This is the person we have asked to attend to your person, Kanna. She knows nothing as of yet, and at times may offend. She kneels, then puts her forehead to the floor, and prostrates herself. She seems terrified, as though Uraha might be devoured if she didn't intervene. Uraha looks around at the ominous state of affairs. All of the other ladies in waiting are prostrated in deep bows. I have no need of your care. I am best left alone. Even in response to the desperate pleas of her ladies in waiting, the girl is curt. But, milady, then our positions. Uraha listens to the exchange dispassionately. Then, with nothing else to do, she begins playing with the girl's hair again. Do you mean to tell me you are unable to hear my commands? Stroke, stroke. No, nothing of the sort. I grow tired of your excuses. She continues to stroke the girl's hair. Again, I say, do not touch me. The girl flies into a thunderous rage. What is the harm? You lose nothing from yourself from it. You dare to mock me? She pins the unfamiliar lady in waiting with her gaze. I mean no offense. Uraha answers with a smile on her face. I simply must say I was entranced by the pleasures of simply stroking my beautiful mistress's hair. It's a paraphrase quote from an old Chinese poem and an absurd turn of phrase. The girl is suddenly left speechless. Her innocent face reddens rapidly. She turns around suddenly and then hurries away down the hall. So that is Lady Kanna. She hadn't noticed any wings on the girl's back, but from her attitude and her manner of speaking, there was no doubt about it. She seems ever so lively and sweet a lady. Uraha laughs softly behind the cover of her sleeve. Although it's one-sided, her first impression of her new mistress is positive. The ladies in waiting left behind by the lady are merely flustered. Then as one, they all fix Uraha with their gazes. What have you... Huh? She responds blithely with a question of her own, when pressed. My headphones messed up. They feel that something... I feel a weird sound. Whatever. She muses to herself, and then position... But the position here is beginning to seem appealing. And of course her colleagues all turn to prayer at this point. Oh, it's outside that's making a weird noise. It's the next morning. Out in fog seeps in through the wide open lattice shutters. Compared to the city, the chill here is much sharper. Don't worry, guys, I can read. Uraha walks alone along the open veranda of the shrine. See what I mean? She is dressed formally in a karaginu and mo. Her long skirts trail along the floor as she walks. This is Uraha's first morning on the job, though the business yesterday has drawn a lot of unfavorable attention to her. She hadn't been dismissed immediately upon starting the position. It remained to be seen if this was good or bad luck, although of course it is the former for Uraha. Soon she arrives at the ladies' chambers. Standing at the edge of the partitions, she senses her mistress nearby. Zzz. Uraha can't help but smile upon hearing a healthy snore. From the stories she has been regaled with, the high-born lady tends to awaken in a poor mood. The more senior ladies-in-waiting has cautioned her strictly against laying even a single finger on Lady Kannabi until she's awakened by her own volition. They hammered home the point against taking any risks on this. She looks around, surveying the scene. After confirming that no one is watching, she slips into the lady's bedchamber. Kannabi no Mikoto sleeps on mats lined with luxurious patterns. She has several layers of blanket. She must be prone to catching chills. The box for a lady's hair is absent from the area around her pillow. Silky black hair is a traditional marker of great beauty. Women of high status braid their hair before they sleep, winding the braid and storing it in a shallow box. Raha has never heard of a noble lady sleeping with her hair simply strewn around her. Whatever am I to do with you? She thinks of it for a while and then claps her hands together. Then she reaches out toward the pillow and whisks it away in one swift motion. Bonk! Kannabi no Mikoto's high-born head hits the tatami mat with a dull thud. Her eyes snap open. She sits up and looks around suspiciously. Her eyes meet with Uraha's as the older woman holds down the pillow to her. Hope Lady Kannabi is in fine spirits this morning, she says, the words just as ladies-in-waiting are taught, but in no way does the lady's mood seem positive. Why are you here? She asks, her eyes narrowing. Uraha doesn't answer. She just slowly takes out a comb and begins straightening her lady's hair. I said not to touch me, and I said I cannot comb your hair otherwise. She works the comb, a calm expression on her face. As Uraha sees it, now that the lady is awake, there should be no reason not to touch her. What do you know? She starts the sentence and stops to press a hand over her mouth. Achoo! Oh dear, first we should get your clothes changed. She tries to pull over a tray of clothing laid out for the lady, but the girl stops her aggressively. Leave me be, I can do this much on my own. Oh my, on your own? She asks in return, then claps her hands together. That must be why you had it fastened oddly yesterday. It's silent for a moment. Someone, come quickly! Kannabi no Mikoto's shout echoes across the shrine premises. Then chaos erupts. Drawn by the commotion, the ladies-in-waiting and the samurai guards all hurry to the bedchamber. Is something the matter, Lady Kannabi? The eldest of the ladies asks, prostrating herself. Kannabi no Mikoto points to Uraha before her and issues an order. Take this impertinent one and throw her deep into the woods. Uraha's eyes widen upon hearing this. Oh dear, is there somewhere deeper in the woods than this? In Uraha's place, it was other retainers that panicked. Following their mistress's bidding, they moved to address this insolent person. I'll see you later then. Uraha leaves with a smile on her face, pulling all along by the ladies-in-waiting. Do not come back again! Bwah! She casually dodges the pillow that comes sailing her way along with those words. Ooh, she's mad. Once the month of February begins, the mountain chill comes down from the peak. The trees begin to open new buds, then the nightingales takes up singing. The day the insects wake up for the year comes and goes, and the animals come out of their burrows. As for Uraha, she continues her duties and isn't cast out into the woods. As she gets used to the role, Uraha also gains an understanding of her circumstances. All of the shrine staff believes that curses will befall any who make careless contact with Kannabi no Mikoto. They want nothing to do with her, but also can't ignore her. They simply want to push duties related to her onto others in their place. Personality conflicts notwithstanding, Uraha is the only eccentric to volunteer to care for Kannabi no Mikoto, so it doesn't take long before Uraha becomes the girl's chambermaid. And as for Kannabi no Mikoto, she holes up in her room all day and night. Aside from accepting meals brought to her, she never comes out from her partitions, and as much as it might seem to be so, she isn't simply avoiding her strange new lady-in-waiting. Kannabi no Mikoto has always had a difficult personality. She can't do anything on her own. It also does nothing to grow closer with her ladies-in-waiting. She lashes out immediately to any who try to get closer. She is proud, violent, and eccentric. Some even call her a demon child behind her back, but all Uraha sees is a lonely little girl pudding on a tough facade. Then that holds true again today. Uraha's struggle continues. I have brought fresh regalia. She calls across the partitioning screen. There's no reply. The design is popular in the capital, and should suit you well, Lady Kannabi. I'm sure of it. There's no reply, unsurprisingly. Look, from the color to the fragrance, this quality is quite rare. She tosses one end of the garment high over the partition in an effort to make sure it is seen. Even so, there's no reply. Here, look, Lady Kannabi. She hops in place like a frog. It's very beautiful. You shall regret it forever if you do not try it on. Please? What's all this commotion? The senior lady in waiting scolds her harshly. All is going well so far as we can all see. Lady Kannabi, I have something of interest. Uraha says ingratiatingly. Wow. Uraha says ingratiatingly, holding a newly obtained volume in hand. If you would be intrigued by tales of this tragic and bizarre, then I would be happy to read for you. I do not read such tales. The voice from the other side of the partition is as curt as ever. But Uraha isn't swayed in the slightest. Please allow me to present a favorite passage, she says, immediately opening the book. Long, long ago, he snuck across the fifth ward, and she continues, her words flowing smoothly as she intones in a loud voice. Of course, there is no response. And next, an old tale of a lady of lusty tastes who encounters... Her annoyance is clear from her aura alone. Uraha continues to recite for 2 hours. Lest one forget, she lets out a single sigh after reading her to her satisfaction. That was rather enjoyable. Only Uraha is having fun. A dozen or so days pass. The color of the sky has already begun to deepen. Listen, Lady Kannabi. Today, as usual, Uraha speaks to her mistress through the partition. I saw a squirrel in the branches of the oak tree this morning. Sitting at the edges of the lady's chamber, she rambles on. Uraha's hair wavers in wind, which grows warmer by the day. Whenever there were pauses in her duties, Uraha persistently tries to spark a conversation. She spoke of her duties at the shrine, idle rumors, the wind, sky, and the forest, and of the lively city. Even if she got no response to her or her mistress was cold to her, she never relented for even a day, and in time Kannabi no Mikoto's feelings began to shift too. Uraha is sure she can feel her interest growing. It ran away right after, but its bushy little tail was adorable. There's a faint sound of garments rustling. She can tell Kannabi no Mikoto has come close to the partition. A squirrel? Uraha hears her murmur. On the other side of the partition, she must be thinking of the outside of the fence perimeter of the shrine precincts. Young girls are naturally full of curiosity at her age. Staying confined into a room at all times inevitably gets boring. Uraha pushes herself to ask her next question. Would it please you to go outside from time to time, Lady Kannabi? Outside? Yes, soon the trees shall bloom and grow fragrant. It might be pleasing to spend time outside. Looking out at the sky through the reed screen, Uraha continues. It would assuredly be enjoyable to pick wildflowers and listen to the birds singing. There's no reply. The girl seems different than usual. Just as Uraha is about to ask, she speaks. She senses Kannabi no Mikoto stand from the sound of her garments rustling. You speak nonsense. Lady Kannabi? You and yours are at once confining me here, she says in a tortured tone, struggling to voice the words. Then her wrathful presence vanishes deeper into her chambers. Uraha remains sitting at attention for some time. The next thing she knew, it was twilight. Then from that day onward, Kannabi no Mikoto stopped speaking to her. She stopped coming to the edge of the partitions in her chambers, and stopped eating her morning and evening meals. She simply lets the rice and fish cool on the tray when they are brought to her. This also pains Uraha. She will grow weaker if you eat nothing at all. No matter how much she wishes, she doesn't get a reply. With no other option at hand, she disappointedly takes away the meal. Concerned, she speaks with the senior staff. You say the winged ones are as light as a butterfly, as they can subsist upon the mists and clouds alone. However, it isn't something for us servants to trouble ourselves over. They dismiss everything. Anything as simply being due to Kannabi no Mikoto's differences from normal people. Uraha isn't satisfied. Whether or not a person has wings, they have to eat or they get hungry, and thus she comes up with a plan. According to the other ladies in waiting, Kannabi no Mikoto loves sweets made with fruit. If left to her own devices, she will eat all the sweets given to her. So she hurries to the kitchens and throws open the stores. Chestnuts, walnuts, oranges, plums, persimmons, and pine nuts. The serving table is piled with heaps of serving of all manner of sweets. It's breakfast time. She takes the table of sweets and places it in front of Lady Kannabi's chambers in lieu of a meal, then vanishes silently. After waiting for a while, she comes back. The serving table is in the same place as before. Nothing has been touched at all, or so it seems. Raha is at a loss for words, impressed at Kanabi no Mikoto's stubbornness. After all, she is a growing young girl with a healthy appetite. Presented with a large portion of her favorite food, she likely wouldn't be able to hold back. Let's see, that 1, 2, 3, 4. Raha counts a pile of sweets for good measure. She finds exactly what she had expected. Oh dear, this is quite odd. A walnut is missing. I definitely counted these. She puzzles over it loudly. This must be a mouse's handiwork. By no means can this be served as to Lady Kanabi now. She thinks for a bit, then puts on an act. And yet, it is heavy enough to be a burden to bring back. I'll leave it here and let the little mouse finish it. She says it aloud for the mouse listening on the other side of the partition. I have other errands to attend to. I shall return in 2 hours and retrieve the serving table. She stands briskly, leaving the pile of sweets on the serving table. Oh, what a busy, busy day. She quickly leaves. Precisely 2 hours later, when Uraha comes back, the sweets have all been eaten. Well, the spring equinox comes. It rains constantly for several days. The damp woods take on a refreshing smell. The mists clear over the mountains and the birds begin to sing. Oh my goodness. A faintly heavy wind begins to blow, and the sunlight glares down brightly. Spring is fully upon the shrine now. The young Imperial Guard at the main gate starts to doze off. The sunlight is so beautiful it makes one doubt the purpose of any messenger from the gods. Uraha walks along the perimeter, which is still slick with lingering moisture. She's carrying an outfit of a new color in her hands. Then just as she passes the breezeway between 2 structures, Uraha then sees Kanabi no Mikoto heading her way. Looking cautiously around at her surroundings as she goes. This is the first time Uraha has seen Lady Kanabi outside her chambers since her arrival at the shrine. Lady Ka! She starts to call out, then stops herself. She hides in the shadows and pulls her skirts in close. Kanabi no Mikoto walks quietly down the hallway without noticing Uraha. Uraha decides to follow her. She rounds a corner in the corridor, then arrives at the connecting passageway to the main building. Kanabi no Mikoto seems to have vanished, as though she wandered into the spirit world. Lady Kanabi? There's a creaking sound. It comes from above the eaves. Uraha looks up and spots a fluttering pink garment vanish up onto the rooftop. This is wildly unacceptable behavior for a young noble girl. Well, how very bold. She's genuinely impressed, but she can't let herself be shown up by such extraordinary behavior. She sets down what she's carrying and focuses intently on removing and tossing aside her karaginu. Next, she loosens her chima and removes several pieces of her clothing, dropping them in the hallway. Okay! Then she stands on the railing and begins climbing a pillar. She struggles her way up, her clothes catching and tearing as she goes. Oh boy. Nervously peering over the edge, she sees the shrine's rooftops unfolding like a series of unfamiliar hills. Typically, no lady-in-waiting would ever see this view. The building's cypress roof has a gentle slope to it, and quite slippery, with the morning rain at the moment. She moves one step at a time, careful of her footing. Kanabi no Mikoto is standing at the precipice. She squats down, heedless of the damp on her clothes, resting her chin on her hands atop her knees. Uraha starts to say something, but again she hesitates. The girl is hunched over and looks extremely forlorn. Beyond the rooftops, verdant forest stretches outward as far as the eye can see. In the distance, it becomes shrouded in the spring haze, with only peasants visible flying in the sky. And suddenly, Kanabi no Mikoto stands up. She peers nervously over the edge of the rooftop, and then for whatever reason she takes off her outerwear with a rustling sound. She pulls at the cords and fastens her collar, letting it slip down her back. Her movements are clumsy. She seems to forget where she is as she is focused on the process. Oops! She steps on the hem of her garment and sways wildly. Uraha reacts with shock. Lady Kanabi, watch out! Forgetting herself as she dashes over and attempts to catch the girl from behind to support her until... whump. Her momentum carries her straight into the other woman's back. Ah! Kanabi no Mikoto is caught by surprise. Tangled up with each other, the two tumble head over heels off the rooftop. Oh no! Ah! Oh dear, oh dear! They both dig their heels in and somehow hang on. Chips of cypress bark rain down onto the ground. Phew! That was very close. She lets out a sigh of relief and grins. Are you trying to kill me? I sincerely apologize. Uraha answers with a superficial layer of politeness, but doing such a thing would deprive me of my reason for living. Holding Kanna no Makoto to her chest, she strokes the girl's hair. Ah, release me! This is suffocating! One benefit of the poor footing is that she doesn't have to move immediately. Upon receiving the order, she seems very happy to be given this rare opportunity, and Kanna no Makoto relents giving her lack of options and asks from within Uraha's embrace. How did you get up here? I simply did as you asked. I just simply did as you did, Lady Kanna. Did you climb up from the passageway? Yes. What happened to your outer robes? They hampered my movements, so I tossed them aside. She's stunned into silence. You would have died if you had fallen. But Lady Kanna, you... Uraha starts to say, then suddenly she remembers. Oh dear, you have wings, Lady Kanna. But she laughs without saying any sign of concern. I never noticed that. Kanna no Makoto starts to respond and then hesitates. Uraha begins an impassioned effort to style the girl's hair. It isn't clear if she notices the girl's hesitation or not. Kanna no Makoto simply lets her do as she pleases. Eventually, she's still held to the woman's chest, she murmurs. This feels familiar. Excuse me? This warm, soft feeling. Lady Kanna? Enough, release me. She twists and slips free of Uraha's arms. Then she awkwardly straightens her outerwear, which had become rumpled. She starts to turn sharply away before stepping on the hem again. Ow! It can be dangerous to move too quickly up here. I know, I'm going back now. Then she starts walking again, carefully adjusting her skirts. Her footsteps appear entirely like those of an adult. It gives her an air of wisdom, like an exile catching a glimpses of their lost home. It makes Uraha wonder, Lady Kanna? She calls out softly as Kanna no Makoto moves to leave. What? If I may ask, Lady Kanna, your mother. At the question, the girl's eyes quiver. The silence that follows feels lengthy. Then Kanna no Makoto speaks. All I am told is that the winged ones are simply born from the sky, and in time we must return there. She looks away, her gaze directed at the distant sky. I am also told that any who touch me will be cursed. She lets out a self-deprecating laugh. A skylark flies by high above them. But we'll see. You too shall refrain from being overly familiar with me, she says, and turns away again with that. Uraha doesn't respond. Instead, she simply follows the smaller girl. Late that night, sometime between 1 and 3 o'clock, the shrine building is subsumed in the sultry spring night. Imperial guards on night watch walk along the fence perimeter. The sound of their booted footfalls fade away and silence returns, and there's a faint pleasant smell from out of nowhere. A woman's form moves down the hallway, slipping through the shadows. It's Uraha. She's clad in an uchugi and hakama. Treading softly, she makes for Kanna no Makoto's chambers. She's as silent as the night itself. Then she lifts the bamboo blinds off the chambers and quietly slips in. The smell of spent oil wafts from the now burnt-out braziers inside. You can faintly see Kanna no Makoto sprawled out on the center of the partitions. Seems she was unable to sleep until quite late. She kicks off her covers and rolls over. Uraha doesn't say anything for a while. When she makes up her mind, Lady Kanna, I'll be by your side. She kneels on the floor and peels back the bedding on this girl's futon. Then she lies down beside Kanna no Makoto. Uraha's long hair brushes the girl's cheek, who notices the unusual turn of events. Huh? Her eyes open. Wah! Before she can raise her voice, Uraha grabs her hand in a tight embrace. What are you doing in here? Lying down with you to soothe you to sleep. Don't be so obscene, so get away from me. I will not. Uraha answers simply. I made a firm decision upon first meeting you, my lady. I decided I shall be closer to you than anyone else, Lady Kanna. I know nothing of such a decision. Unhand me! Kanna no Makoto struggles to escape. Uraha's arm tenses against her. I cannot breathe. Unhand me! It is simply a fairy tale that you were born from the sky, Lady Kanna. Uraha continues as though explaining things to a small child. There's no such thing as a parentless child. She loosens her left hand a tiny bit and supports Kanna no Makoto's upper arm. You have a mother somewhere as well, Lady Kanna. She strokes the girl's head gently with her right hand. Your mother is surely out there somewhere, thinking of you, Lady Kanna. She runs her slender fingers through the girl's hair. Your mother must have done what I'm doing now once. She hugs the frail girl tightly. Please try to remember that. At some point, Kanna no Makoto stops struggling. Then she simply presses her cheek to Uraha's chest. She smells sweet in the way the girl can't place. Confused by this softness, she puts her ear back to the older woman's chest. I can hear a thumping sound. I can hear the same from you, Lady Kannabi. Your skin is very warm, as is your own, Lady Kannabi. And so the two cuddle together in silence. Eventually, Kannabi no Mikoto begins to snore softly. Uraha smiles and closes her eyes as well. Even then, her hand continues to stroke the girl's hair uninterrupted. Ah! It's the next morning. Kannabi no Mikoto opens her eyes languidly at the light piercing through the blinds. She feels sure she was having a pleasant dream. She looks around, still lying on her back. She sees the perfectly positioned screens, the blinds wavering in the wind, and her clothes folded by her bedside. It's just another day, starting as usual. But something is missing. She feels around nearby. There's no one there. She kicks off her covers and sits up, and she looks around as though seeking the remainder of her dream. Someone slept in today. Uraha is there in her official position as usual. Her clothes change and appearance is in order. Although her cheeks do look a tiny bit flustered. I hope that Lady Kannabi is in fine spirits this morning. Wait, still rubbing her eyes, she interrupts the familiar words. Just Kanna is fine, she says, blushing a little. That is my true name, you see. Yes, Lady Kanna. Uraha responds, smiling shyly. Ah. Days come and go, passing like the day's light. Eventually, a refreshing breeze blows through. Lady Kanna, are you here? Uraha walks slowly along the shrine rooftop. She's already removed her formal karaginu in order to be up there. Lady Kanna! Eventually, she finds the girl she's looking for. She lays there using a roof tile as a pillow, looking up at the clear skies above. Uraha! She responds, still lying down. Ah, so there you were. Do you have need of something? Your meal is ready. She conveys the message formally, and then her expression turns mischievous as she continues. The shrine received an offering of sea bream. Shall I have the cooks grill some later? I see. There's abalone too. I will be looking forward to it. Oh, and did you hear yet? Did I hear what? A new guard will be joining us soon. That is an unusual development. It shows how valued you are, though, Lady Kanna. She answers lazily. What are you thinking, my lady? I was reflecting on memories. Memories of what? Well, this and that. This and that, you say? Uraha smiles knowingly. Kanna stands, her hair ornaments swaying as she does. On days this clear, I look up at the sky. She lifts both sleeves over her head like a sail and stretches, and it makes me feel as though I could fly off to anywhere I choose. Uraha stands by politely, her gaze on the girl's back. Oh. For just an instant, it seems as though she can see pure white wings. Lady Kanna, Uraha says, if... She looks out at the view before her. The shrine grounds are like a walled garden, surrounded by the wooden fence. Beyond that, mountains stretch out in all directions, and stretching on beyond that is the endless blue sky. When you do finally leave here someday, Lady Kanna, Uraha continues staring up at the same sky as the girl. Please be certain to take me with you. You would come even if I told you not to. So I would, even if I had to cling to your ankles as you left. She answers, her expression serious. And eventually Kanna speaks. Do as you like, Uraha. By your leave, my lady. The two break into grins in the same instant. Summer is almost upon them. There we go. And that's the end of that. First Sky chapter done. Second Sky oh no, there's nothing. Well, we did it, everyone. We done did it. Kanna passed. Yeah. Excellent. The final image is this. Still missing two things here. I don't know how the heck to get those two things, but, yep, I'm gonna call it here, guys. This has been Air. Really great game. And I'm sure we'll see the last of the key games, the visual arts games, maybe next year, that being Little Busters. But yeah, take care. If you found this on YouTube, good job. But yeah, take care. See you later. Bye-bye.